And now, ladies and gentlemen, the keeper of the keys.
Hi everybody, and welcome to Tanner's first ever informational video blog. Cause learning is fun. Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about multiple personality disorder. I know, pretty exciting. So first off, everyone knows what multiple personality disorder is. But do they really know what it is? If you ask any schmo sitting on the sidewalk, hey, how you doing? Okay, enough small talk. How much do you know about multiple personality disorder? How much do you think they'd be able to tell you? Just a little, wait for it. Wait for it. Food for thought. That's actually what I did. Actually, I went up to a couple people and asked them what they knew about multiple personality disorder. Which is basically what this video blog is about. Multiple personality disorder and some of its misconception. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna tell you some of the questions I asked them, and then we're gonna see their responses and see what people think about multiple personality disorder. And right off the bat, just simple and easy. What's everything you think you know about multiple personality disorder? Let's see what people have to say.
They have different people and they have like different worlds they live in.
They can switch personalities on command.
They're more likely to kill.
They never remember the bad things they did.
They're more likely to commit murders.
Those answers were okay. The scientific definition of multiple personality disorder is a severe form of dissociation that a person uses as a coping technique against childhood trauma, which involves two or more split personalities dominating a person's behavior. And the one about the murder was actually kind of true, because being dominated by another personality has been described as being a passenger in your own body. So some people are driven to do things that they wouldn't normally do, like steal or kill. So those answers were actually okay. Our next question: how do you think multiple personality disorder is caused?
They're trying to lead a different life.
Something traumatic?
How multiple personality is actually caused is a little complicated, so you're gonna need to bear with me here. So, during childhood, there's a critical period for learning certain things. Like, for example, babies, newly born babies, and when they're just really tiny, are in a critical period for learning language, you know? You know how you never have to walk babies through learning a language just after a couple of years. They just know, you know? Because they're in their critical period for learning languages. You don't have to teach them, like, intonation or, like, patterns of speech. They just know, okay? So, when children are developing, especially around, like, 5 and 7, they're in a critical period for creating an identity for themselves, right? Right. Sometimes, though, things aren't exactly normal, and sometimes bad things happen to good people. I know. It's sad. Let's take a moment. Okay, moment's done. So, this guy, let's say Henry, he's 5.5, right? He's being constantly abused by his parents, and he's being consistently traumatized. So, as a way of coping, he'll start to separate himself from his emotions and his feelings into a different personality. Like, for example, if his mom came home and his mom likes to just give him a few punches when she walks in the door, Henry might assume this new personality whenever his mom comes home, who's like Bobby, the tough fighter, who can always take it when his mom hits him, you know? So that way he won't have to deal with that himself. And since children are in their critical period for learning about their identity and developing an identity, and they don't have an adult who says, you're your own person, not 5 people, then their brain will start to grow thinking like that, thinking that there's different parts of them, and then once it's grown, once the time they reach 10 or 11, it's stuck like that. I like to think of it as Play-Doh. That's the metaphor for today, Play-Doh. So the brain is Play-Doh, and when it's new and you just get it, you can make it and mold it to whatever you want to, right? But then when you sit it out for a while, you make it into what you want to, you have it sit out, then it dries and gets all crusty and it stays like that, right? It's stuck like that. Exactly like the brain in the multiple personalities. If a kid grows up molding his brain into thinking that there are 5 different personalities in his head, and he leaves it out in the sun, because no one's like, hey, that's not what the Play-Doh is supposed to look like, then it's just going to dry like that and get crusty, and that's how his brain's going to stay. And question number 3, we're learning counting too while we do this, it's so fun. At what age do you think multiple personality disorder is developed?
No specific age?
At around 20 because they're all adults.
Though I can see the logic in that, that's not right at all. The actual statistical age that multiple personality disorder develops is 5.9. 5.9 people. That's kindergarten. At kindergarten! They're gonna go crazy! Like you're playing on the playground and you're on the tire swing with your personality Bob and your personality Julia. Like, how weird is that? You know what I'm saying? So if I was to ask you how many alternate personalities a person can have, what would you say?
An infinite amount. They keep changing.
Around 5.
5 and basically infinity. That's kind of on opposite sides of the spectrum, but the actual answer is closer to 5, even though they're both a little right, because there is no definite amount of personalities a person can have. There's no average, like the average amount of personality it has is like 22.9. But there have been cases where someone has up to 104 personalities, and there have been some when there's only 2 or 3 personalities. It just depends on the person. Okay, since you know so much about this topic already, I'm gonna ask you this next one. Can someone go in and out of personalities on command?
No.
No.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know.
No.
So it seems like there's a little controversy over this answer. Actually, the answer is most of the time, no. But there have been cases where someone can. It's just a little rare because usually it's mostly subconscious. Because it's the brain's subconscious way of dealing with all these problems. This next question's a little weird, so bear with me. What do you think it looks like when a person switches personalities? And by that I mean, is there like a physical thing you can see? Like, how do you know when someone switched personalities? That's my question.
I guess they would act all weird. They would have weird gestures. They would twitch.
They would probably blink or shudder when it happened.
Those answers were right, so I don't really have anything more to say. Each personality will usually have its own physical properties, like body language or posture, so you would be able to tell when someone had just switched. How common do you think multiple personality disorder is? Just as a percentage of the population.
Somewhere under 10%.
Somewhere under 10%. That's kind of a big range, like 1%, 8%. Because if it was 9%, that'd mean almost 1 out of every 10 person had multiple personality disorder, so that's not really working for me. The actual answer is 0.1% to 1%. See, they leave a little range there because not everyone who has it actually gets diagnosed. You know why? It's because they're crazy, so not all of them know to go to the doctor. What you gonna do? We're at our last question, and so we're almost there. Okay. If I told you multiple personality disorder had a different name, would you be able to tell me what it was? It's new. It's recent. No. So if you don't get it, it's not your fault. But little judging will be happening.
No.
No.
You know what? That's okay. Because it was a tough one. The answer is dissociative identity disorder. Because it's a dissociative disorder. So I guess they just wanted to put that in the name so people wouldn't get confused. So it looks like there's no more questions, which means our video blog is at an end. Sad. I know. Crying a little. But I hope we all learned something, and be sure to join me next time. Remember, always brush your teeth.